This is the new American media.
All right, everybody, welcome back. My name's Brian Engelman. If you're listening live, that took a matter of seconds. And if you're listening after the fact, thank you for listening after the fact, either at our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. If you haven't been there, please go check it out. Thank you for listening on YouTube, and that is youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Click subscribe, leave your comments. Man, posted a story about burning snow. Saw some videos, and my brother went and tried that in Ohio, and getting all this black smoke coming up from a piece of snow. Man, the comments are just flying. It's like 60% trying to debunk it and saying, oh, there's no way. And then it's 40% saying, no, man, I just tried this in my yard. That did not happen. And then other people saying, try a hairdryer. Put it on the stove. Use a candle. It's just insane. Check that video out. Leave your comments. Try it out on your own. I'm not claiming I know exactly what's going on or if it means anything or nothing. But check it out. I had no idea we'd get the intensity of coverage that we've had just by having it up there briefly. So please check that out on our YouTube channel, on Facebook. If you haven't liked our page, do that. Go on Facebook and you got to search The New American Media. Like the page. And on Twitter, we're at American_media_. And I believe you can access all of these things on the bottom right side of thenewamericanmedia.com. It should have our Facebook page linked up there and our Twitter feed, so you can add and follow those sources right there from the homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. Hey, did you see Jerry Seinfeld? A Seinfeld reunion is happening. Yeah, but that 8 million names of Americans slated for detainment? I don't know. I'm going to talk about that one. And I think this is a crossover story on Super Bowl week. Why does the NFL deserve tax-exempt status? So we got all these interesting stories, and you could listen to me talk about it, or you could also talk with Blake the Eccentric Walley. He's a radio host. He's a regular contributor over here at thenewamericanmedia.com. I think we should bring him into the program right about now. We should play tennis back and forth with stories.
Hello.
Blake, welcome to Agree to Disagree. How you doing this wonderful Friday?
Amazing, Brian. How are you?
Take a guess.
Are you living the dream?
Living the dream! Sorry, I might have just yelled that. Yes, I am living the dream. As always. Fake it till you make it, right?
Exactly.
All right, well, welcome back to the program. And first off, who's your Super Bowl pick? Who's winning? What's the score?
Oh, man. You know what? Not that I want to glorify the bread and circus, the big distraction. I still am a football fan to an extent.
Blake. You do not need to apologize for that. You dedicate a larger percentage of your life to fighting the good fight and defending freedom and liberty and trying to oppress this global tyranny, this march toward this Orwellian nightmare. You dedicate more of a percentage of your time to that than most of the people that I know. There are very few people, Dan Johnson of Panda, Mark Claire Lyons of Liberty, John B. Wells, myself, you, Ben Swann. I've been fortunate enough to have a cast of characters surrounding what we do here at the New American Media for a couple of years. And you're in that elite group. It's like you're a super soldier of defending liberty or freedom. It's like you're a Navy SEAL of research, journalism, and expose-ingness. I totally made that last word up.
That's all right.
But you don't need to apologize for being a sports fan. I do a sports radio show, and we all need to take a break for a couple of hours, watch some funny commercials, look at a pretty girl or two, watch a nice touchdown, maybe a nice defensive hit, great interception, and then get back to our work. So don't apologize for breads and circuses, man.
All right, well, that's high praise, Brian. I appreciate that. Yes, I've given up my baseball, I've given up my ultimate fighting, and I'm pretty much down to football, which I still follow. You know what? Casually, though, but still, it was an enjoyable season. I think the four best teams made the championship games, and I think you've got arguably the two best teams going head-to-head as the number one offense and the number one defense. I'm pretty excited. I think it's. I kind of want to lean towards Seattle. Seems like their year. Really like that defense. And I don't know. Peyton Manning out in the cold in Jersey. I like Peyton Manning. He's probably the most exciting player to watch in the NFL. I don't know if we want to get into debates on him versus Brady. Who's the best quarterback? I'd have to go with Brady, but I think Manning is the more exciting player. I think it's going to be a really good game. I am looking forward to it. And I think just because of with that defense, I think Seattle might pull it off. But if Manning wins, and kudos to him, good job. But, what do you think, Brian? You're definitely more of a sports nut than I am.
Peyton Manning is the best quarterback in the NFL. Agree or disagree?
Well, it seemed like if you looked at the head-to-head record, it seemed like Brady. I think just that Brady, Belichick. I really thought the Patriots were going to win in the championship. It just seems like he always gets the better against Manning. So, but not the case. They really blew him out. So. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say the Patriots have had a ton of injuries this year. Losing Wes Welker was huge. Losing Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez have been huge.
Ooh, yeah. If they had Gronkowski, even that itself could have been a game changer.
And he got blown up by the Cleveland Browns, the game I was watching.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought
you guys almost won, huh?
Well, we beat your Minnesota Vikings, and it turns out one of these days you might actually make do on your bet to travel out here to Los Angeles and buy me a drink because my Browns beat your Vikings.
Right?
Yeah, it might be. We shall see. But in this game, if I were a betting man, I would go with the Denver Broncos. However, in my heart of hearts and in rooting interest, I'm pulling for the Seahawks because John Elway and the Broncos ripped my heart out as a Cleveland sports fan with John Elway's 98-yard drive, Ernest Biner's phantom fumble, and all of those Super Bowl losses that the Broncos had up until Elway got one on his last season, in the 90s. But I don't have any particular love for the Broncos, although I did have a couple of their players in my fantasy league, so I was rooting for Demaryius Thomas every week, and it kind of warped me a little bit.
Oh, yeah, no. Sorry, I won my football championship this year, and that was thanks to my Week 1 waiver pickup of No Sean Moreno. He pretty much carried my team into the playoffs and won it for me.
Hang on.
Sure.
Okay, you need to join our fantasy league next year. I'm in a couple. And
I quit for 2 years. Yeah, I took a hiatus. I said I'm dedicated to news and research, and then I got talked into it, and then ended up winning. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I made it to the championship game in both of my leagues. Did not bring home a trophy, but I've been on 3 teams in the past 2 years, and I made the championship in all 3 teams, and I brought home 1 trophy last year. So I'm doing okay.
Wow.
But yeah, I would probably, because I did watch the Broncos see Demaryius put up some good numbers, and I kept a close eye on Welker and Decker. Decker helped me a ton last year. But anyway, all that aside, the Seahawks have never won a Super Bowl, and as a Cleveland sports fan, obviously I do that show, The Unhappy Hour, the only Cleveland-centric, Los Angeles-based sports show that I'm currently aware of. Because in my whole lifetime, I've never seen a Browns, Indians, or Cavs championship. So I'm pulling for the Seahawks, and I hope the Seahawks win. But if I'm going to put my money down, how do you bet on Russell Wilson over Peyton Manning? I get that the Seahawks defense is great, but great against great. Peyton's been doing this for a long time, man. So those are my thoughts. I think the Broncos are going to win.
But,
I'm not really pulling against the Broncos like I was pulling against the Ravens last year. Obviously, the Ravens stole my team. I will always root against them. I'll root against the Heat. Pittsburgh. Wow, I didn't swear that time using their name. Usually it starts with a sh. Anyway,
yeah.
So, there are teams I will almost always root against, but, this one I'm kind of apathetic at this point. It's not the John Elway Broncos. I like Peyton Manning. We'll see. I'm looking forward to a good game. I see the Broncos winning by at least 6, and I think the line is, 2.5 or something?
I heard something like 2. I haven't checked it out, but Seattle's a 2-point favorite, or is it Broncos 2-point favorite?
Broncos, I believe, but we're not. So that's what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm hoping happens. I like seeing a team that has never hoisted a trophy get a chance to. So
yeah, me too.
So that's where I'm coming from there. But I want to talk about this real quick because this isn't important as talking about Maine Corps, the 8 million names of Americans who would be slated for detainment. This story that I'm digging around and looking into. It's not as okay. This story is slightly more important than Jerry Seinfeld saying a Seinfeld reunion is happening. Although I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, I'm kind of looking forward to that. But this one, do you know that the NFL is tax exempt? I covered this a little bit ago on the Unhappy Hour. Did you know that the NFL, it brings in $9 to $10 billion, call it $9.5 billion, just to meet in the middle on these two reports, tax exempt as a 501c6 organization? Did you know that?
I just found out about it this week or last week. I can't remember, but at the same time, that they released that stuff. Also, Roger Goodell makes $29.5 million a year. Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane that they're tax exempt and they're bringing in that kind of money. Just a giant ripoff. So, that's going to change. Now we've got there's people in Congress now that are working on changing that. It'd be one thing if they were really giving a lot of money to charity, but when it's all said and done, it didn't really seem like it was a drop in the bucket compared to what they're actually taking in. So there's something's not right about that.
Well, you know what else is not right about it? It just kind of speaks to cronyism. When everybody plays by the same rules, it's just simple. Prior to 1913, there was a sales tax, a percentage of things that were bought and sold, and we had roads, we had schools, we had bridges, we had fire departments, we had all that stuff. And, we had a military. We weren't occupying the entire globe, but we were able to get by, and we were doing just fine, and we didn't have a $17 trillion credit card tab. But what this reeks to me of, reading about how Pete Rozelle did all this lobbying back in the 60s, by the way, just so you know, how the IRS describes this 501c6 tax-exempt status. I said it on my last show, I'm just going to read it one more time. Tell me if one of these things is not like the other. Section 501c6 of the Internal Revenue Code provides for the exemption of business leagues, chambers of commerce, real estate boards, boards of trade, and professional football leagues, which are not organized for profit and no part of the net earnings of which inures to the benefit of any private shareholder or individual. What in the hell does football league have to do with chambers of commerce and real estate boards and boards of trade? To me, that just reeks of crony capitalism, of the problem with our lobbying society, where it's like, hey, we got this set of rules, nobody can read through and decipher the tax code, but here's the trick we came up with. Tax code applies to everyone but this group of people. This is why I'm for getting rid of the IRS. Make it simple, across the board, no more tricks, no more games, no more hiding, no more lobbying, no more BS. Just everyone in the same boat. And if you want to issue a refund at the end, fine, kick some back to some people if they didn't do so well, if you want to do it that way. It's just, it's beyond the looking glass, confusing, corrupt, and really anachronistic. It's just not functioning in today's society very well, this whole convoluted, complicated tax code. Thoughts on that?
Absolutely. IRS needs to go. It's way past due. It's horrible. It's secretive. Probably unconstitutional. You're not supposed to put a tax on people's labor. It is unconstitutional. It's everything our forefathers were against. It didn't come about until we created the Federal Reserve, which also is maybe unconstitutional as well. Snuck in through Congress back in 1913. Was it 1913, 1915?
1913 brought us the income tax and the Federal Reserve. Woodrow Wilson, baby.
Yeah, so, it should be everything should be drastically simplified. So, I don't mind if they're collecting taxes on things that are, good government services, But the thing is, the IRS doesn't collect any money, doesn't pay for any services. It just pays the interest on the national debt, which you just said was $17 trillion, so it keeps going up, and they do nothing but just basically intimidate everybody, and everybody hates tax season. Nobody understands all the tax codes and all that stuff. It's two different sets of rules, and the people that really understand all that awful code and legalese are the benefit from the system, while the other people seem to get bitten by it, and if you don't play by the rules, then they lock you up and do all kinds of awful things. So, no, I'm no fan of that in any way. It needs to be abolished ASAP.
Yeah, well, it just, I'm blending a few quotes together, but one of the quotes is when you write so many laws that people don't even know what they are, the society becomes lawless. Because there's no way anybody could possibly navigate through it all. And it reminds me of that time Ned Flanders has his meltdown. And hurricane hit Ned Flanders' house. And he goes to church all the time, and he's like, Lord, I've done everything you've asked me to do. I go to church on Sunday, I raise my kids right, I read the Bible, and I do the things you tell me to do. Even the things that contradict with the other things that you told me to do, I do those too. Why would you allow this to happen? There are so many laws that are written.
Sound like them. Very good.
Highly ho. Anyway, and there are. I got to work on a few of those. But there are so many tax laws that are written so that you can be attacked from both sides, regardless of whether you did something or you did the other thing. You can twist and warp and launch an investigation into anything, and that's part of what has led to these really low poll ratings for Barack Obama, is that he had the IRS targeting Tea Party and conservative groups, using the full weight and power of the IRS gorilla in the room to intimidate and try to silence the opposition, right?
Yeah, well, that's what appears so far. We're unable to get answers. They're stonewalling the investigation. The prosecutor that was supposed to be prosecuting the case turned out to be a big Obama donor. And so, they're just playing games right now, the Justice Department. It's extremely corrupt. Culture of corruption that we've got going on. Of course, Lois Lerner pleaded the Fifth so she wouldn't have to testify. We had the head of the IRS, the original, when the scandal broke, resigned. So, yeah, they're fighting to give out the answers, because once we do get the answers, there's probably going to be people put in jail, and it could lead to impeachment for Obama, perhaps. We don't really know, because we can't get anywhere with the investigation when the Justice Department is, working along with Obama, trying to protect the administration, and of course, the administration's protecting him, because they've pulled out the executive privilege card during Fast and Furious to prevent the Attorney General from perhaps going to jail too. So yeah, this is the corruption that we've dealt with. This is where we are. This is the new Rome here in America, and we're talking about the bread and circus for the weekend. And
you mentioned that the person supposed to lead the investigation of the IRS scandal was an Obama supporter, right?
Yeah, supporter, one of the big, and a donor. Yeah, she gave the maximum amount. So we're seeing that. That's the way you get ahead these days. Is you're a bundler, you get big money for the organization, and then you can get yourself a position in government. That's what we've evolved into. We've seen America decline into this new culture. It's not good, but I don't even know where to go with this.
Well, maybe it's what we've devolved into. But to hear that the president may have appointed one of his biggest supporters and donors kind of reminds me of this.
Everybody is to leave here immediately. This cafe is closed until further notice. Clear the room at once.
How can he close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Everybody out at once.
From Casablanca, the police chief. I am shocked to learn that illegal gambling is occurring here. The guy comes in from the back room.
Right.
You're winning, sir. Thank you very much. You know, I am shocked to find out the massive level of corruption. I am shocked that Obama... Actually, you know what, legitimately, though, all sarcasm aside, I am shocked and astonished that the president still has a 37% approval rating. Who are these 37 of 100 people that aren't paying attention?
Yeah, they are the absolute diehard fanatics, people that really probably aren't paying much attention at all, and if they do, they get all of their information from blatant left-wing sources of misinformation. I don't know if it's Media Matters, MSNBC, CNN, people like that, or people that, you know, they know that, say the Republicans are bad and Fox News is bad, so they don't listen to anything that comes out of the right wing. And I understand, but you know, they're not doing themselves any favors because their side is equally as corrupt, and they're not looking, and they just want to live in their little bubble. And it's, you know, in some ways, I don't want to say it's hard to blame them because they, you know, went through the Bush and Cheney thing. But if they actually were paying attention and were able to be, if they were more informed and they would be intellectually honest, they would see that this is terrible. That Obama, at the very least, they should be able to say that Obama is as bad as the Bush administration, and you're just getting the more of the same, more of the. And you saw another, State of the Union. It's more of the same.
Oh yeah. What did you think of the
false
State of the
promises.
Union? It was pretty amazing, right? State of the Union thoughts?
Oh yeah, this time I think we should take it seriously. I know the last 5 years, it's pretty, who knows? I mean, they could have played a trick on us and played any one of the last several State of the Union addresses, and I don't think anybody would have noticed. The same old stuff and the same old. What are they? There's Gerald Celente was saying it's the Grammy Awards basically for the political class. It's politics is for what is it? No, is it politics for ugly people? I forget. Or it's out of Hollywood. Politics was it Hollywood for ugly people? I don't remember. Something like that. I'm already butchering that.
No, you're very close to nailing it. Yeah, it's a silver screen for ugly people. Something like that.
Yeah, so you get to watch all them doing the stand-up and big standing ovation for the same old false promises over and over again. It was really sad. It was a spectacle. And the good news is that, it had the lowest ratings since 2000. People aren't buying it anymore. People are losing their faith in the government, losing their faith in Obama. And, I guess the bright side, even though he's still at 37%, he's still down considerably in the last year. So it's only going to get worse, I would assume.
Anyway, do you have any thoughts moving away? Yeah, because it really is a non-memorable. I watched the whole thing. I forced myself to watch it. Really, but aren't you happy to learn that there's no longer a war on women and 77 cents on the dollar and let's all stand or something? I mean, in what world?
Second biggest standing ovation of the night. Women deserve the same opportunities. Like, really? Yeah, duh. Okay, yeah. They're standing up for common sense.
And by the way, water is wet. Water is wet.
Hey.
And the sky is blue sometimes. And period. Right.
No, that's actually what your buddy Mark Claire was tweeting out from Lions of Liberty, basically.
That must have been where I absorbed that one. Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't he talk about how, everybody likes pizza, everybody likes cat videos, or, let's get a big standing ovation for that, like all this stuff that everybody agrees upon. Yeah. Yeah, you had Joe Biden, I remember back in the day, talking about how they had passed this bill for, the violence against, or what was it, some bill against, like, violence against women or something, like you're taking credit for common sense. Like,
where's the bill for violence against men? I mean, there shouldn't be violence for anyone. Oh, it's a hate crime. Aren't most crimes hate crimes? If you hate, I mean, it's just absurd. It's divide and conquer. Hey, you're not an American. Hold on. Better yet, you're not a human. You're an American. You're not an American. You're a gay person. You're a black person. You're a woman. You're in the 99%. You're in the lower socioeconomic strata. Your great-great-grandparents went through something 200 years ago. It really is just divide and conquer. I mean, I've never gone on Craigslist or Monster or any of these sites or something. It's been a while since I have. Thankfully, let's knock on something. That wasn't wood. Hold on.
Right.
Wait, that's drywall. Do I have any wood in this place? Anybody, can you... Hang on, let me ask my producer. Can I get some wood? Wait, I don't have a producer. Hold on, wait. I do have some wood. Hold on. Okay, got it. That was around the window.
Excellent.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's just divide and conquer. It's everybody should have a grievance. Everybody deserves special treatment. It's like, no. How about we write a law saying nobody should be murdered? I like that one. Regardless of who, where, or why. I kind of like that people shouldn't be murdered. That makes a lot of sense to me. I've never been on a Craigslist ad, though, that says, seeking sales executive, must have this experience, a college degree, Microsoft Word proficient, PowerPoint proficient, at least 3 years in the industry, 77,000 if you're a woman, 100,000 if you are a man. Oh, well, I guess I'm a man. I guess I get to apply to that one, and I'm so lucky because I'm a part of the Stick and Stones Club. Man, I almost said something different. I don't know. I don't see this rampant discrimination in my daily life. But of course, that's because I'm a young white male, right? And this really is a rampant problem, Blake.
Yeah, I don't know. It was news to me. I mean, if they're not getting equal pay, they obviously, I don't understand why not. I think we've changed a lot in this society. I can see that like 20, 30 years ago. I wasn't aware of that. Sure, you can say it, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still common sense. So I don't know why that's such a big, like we just, wow, I can't believe he said that. It was just amazing. Like, wow, we all got to get, I don't know. It was very weird. And then, of course, the biggest standing ovation was parading around the soldier that done 10 tours of duty or something. Yeah, it was kind of a shameless the way he, oh, look at me, looking for the troops. Like, why don't you, do something good and, bring the troops home if you care about them so much. Interesting rebuttal actually put out by Ben Swann, made a video about precisely that.
And what was the gist of it? How did he distill it for us?
Yeah, if you really want to, honor the troops and you care so much, then why don't you end the wars and bring them home?
Interesting.
That's basically how I can sum it up in 10
seconds. Something that did jump out at me now that we're talking about the State of the Union is that the president was saying about not go to war, and it's got to be a real good reason, to put American lives at stake, which is why he was talking about war and how I'm like, wait a minute, you clown! I actually yelled at the TV during this point. I'm like, you were beating the war drums for Libya for how long? How long were you and Kerry trying to like hell to get us into Libya? I'm sorry. Libya.
Syria. Yeah.
Syria. Thank you.
Well, we didn't get into Libya, but yeah, he already did.
I'm confusing my African countries, good sir. I apologize. I knew it wasn't right. Syria. It's chemicals. It's the Assad regime. We have to go. Why do we have to go? They used gas. Hold on, weren't they using bullets too? Well, gas kills. Hold on, bullets kill. Yeah, well, gas. They're dropping bombs. Well, gas. Hold on, they're rolling tanks through and blowing up homes. Gas. Wow, okay, you make a great point. They killed with another weapon. It's the same idiots. They're like, oh, you gotta take guns away from the people. No, it's a Second Amendment. That ain't ever happening, pal. Well, guns kill people. So does a hammer. So does a car. You can kill anybody with anything if you want to. Everything is a tool. A screwdriver. I say this all the time. A screwdriver can build you something. It can build your shelf, or it can stab somebody through the temple and end their life. Are you using it as a tool, or are you using it as a weapon? A baseball bat hits home runs and makes me $17 million a year for the Yankees. Or a baseball bat will crush a skull. What movie was that? Goodfellas? Am I thinking of the...
No, Inglourious Bastards.
Okay, Inglourious Bastards. No, I'm thinking of the Al Capone one.
Team. Scarface, is it?
No, with Kevin Costner.
Damn it.
Kevin Costner.
The 20s Prohibition movie.
Al Capone. The Untouchables. The Untouchables.
Untouchables. There you go.
Team. Whoopsh, whoopsh. So baseball bat can earn you
Right.
a whopping salary. By the way, did you see the story? Man, we're bouncing all over the place here, but I love it. Did you see the story in Forbes that Peyton Manning, if he wins the Super Bowl and he plays next year, it's going to cost him more money than he earns from the Super Bowl win because of how New Jersey is going to tax him in their special athlete tax? Did you happen to see that article in Forbes?
I did see. I didn't break it down, but I know what you're talking about. And yeah, they're getting just absolutely ridiculous taxes that they have to pay if he wins the game or whatever. Yeah, because I think the winning team gets like twice as much money. I think the same thing. It is the same thing with the Pro Bowl, but yeah. I forget how it was structured or how it would affect him, but yeah, it was like just insane the amount of money that they have to give up in taxes.
Yeah, I mean it is really crazy, but no, I mean back to Syria real quick. I mean the president was up there talking about how he doesn't want to go to. I mean this is a guy with a Nobel Peace Prize who loves war, who brags about having his kill list. And I guess I could kind of veer into maybe three different directions. We have the Snowden angle because he was nominated for a Peace Prize, and we also have this Maine Corps. Have you done any research into Maine Corps?
Doesn't sound familiar, no.
The code name of a database maintained since the 80s by the federal government of the U.S., containing personal and financial data of millions of U.S. citizens believed to be threats to national security. Another article kind of sums it up. It says, I'm trying to find the best way to sum it up. Yeah, 8 million people on the list. Well, let me sift through this in a second. Go to Snowden. Let's start with Snowden. Snowden has been nominated now for a Peace Prize. Is there a man that deserves it any more than this guy? I thought he should have been the Time Person of the Year as well.
Yeah, we don't really care too much about Time. They're kind of a dying magazine, but whatever. It's hard to argue. Find the Pope, let's give it to him. I don't have a big issue with that. But yeah, there is the nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize by two Norwegian politicians. So they've got let's look at this InfoWars because I know they wanted to have a campaign to honor him. So, and exposing mass surveillance and rampant government corruption, arguing that Snowden had contributed to a more stable and peaceful world order. That would be, I don't even know how to pronounce these two Norwegians' names.
Try it, like Cuyahoga County.
Bard Vegar Solkjelk and Snorre Valin. I don't know, I'm guessing. Submitted Snowden's name to be considered for the award, adding that his actions have, in effect, led to the reintroduction of trust and transparency as a leading principle in global security policies.
By the way, God bless you from earlier when you tried pronouncing those names.
Yeah, I don't even know because they're not. They're not even set up like you would normally think. There's just too many consonants or
ampersands and apostrophes and smiley faces.
Yeah. What is that?
I'm sorry. Is there a hashtag Is there a hashtag in the middle of this name? I don't even know how you pronounce that.
Well, they're not even like real. Like I've never even seen names like that anywhere. Like this guy's name is Bard, like Baard, and the other one's name is Snorre, Snorre. Like I don't even really. I've never even seen people have that name or something. So I don't. It's very unusual.
Maybe you could name your firstborn Bard Snore.
Well, I'd have to learn how to pronounce it first, yeah. No, yeah, probably not.
You should go back to school and take on a massive student loan debt so that you can study Norwegian intricacies of language, so you can name Bard Snore appropriately. No, I mean, but Edward Snowden.
Minnesota, but yeah, no.
Minnesota,
A little bit of Norwegian. Yeah, it's a little Norwegian and Swedish up there, but no, don't. Not this guy. It's not my ancestry, so I do not.
Well, I mean, Edward Snowden. The stories still keep coming out on a daily basis. I saw The Guardian release the footage of when they were ordered to destroy the hard drives and the USB drives of the computers that contained the information.
Yeah, it's red linked on Drudge right now, and Ben Swann carried it from yesterday, and Ben Swann is also carrying a half-an-hour interview with Edward Snowden by a German outlet. It's just pretty cool, and supposedly it's like banned, like in the United States. I don't know. I did tweet it out today. If you want to follow me at Eccentric99, you can go check that out, Edward Snowden interview.
Well, yeah, I do want. Have you had a chance to watch it? Are there highlights?
Yeah. Well, I was kind of listening to it while I was playing Mahjong, but yeah.
How do you pronounce that? Mahjong and Bard Snore?
Mahjong. Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm actually not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, even though I play it all the time. Yeah, media blacks out Snowden interview the government doesn't want you to see. That's on Ben Swann today.
Yeah, Ben Swann's actually going to be on with us next Friday. Did he reschedule with you? You guys have that in the works, or?
No. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, apparently he got a stomach bug before this show. Hopefully it wasn't butterflies, so I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to reschedule. He's like, oh, my God, I'm not going to go on with that crazy eccentric guy. Who booked that interview?
Oh, that's
no,
cute.
tell him I'm sick. I have no idea.
Tell him I'm, quick, think of something. Tell him I'm playing in the Super Bowl. I'm in the Super Bowl. Oh, okay. Thanks, Ben. No, definitely book that again. But no, I had somebody, one of our correspondents, on our website. By the way, real quick, if let me kind of hit reset here. Blake the Eccentric Walley is our guest. He does a radio show every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. You can hear him live on your computer, that computational device, be it laptop, cellular phone, desktop, tablet. I'm just trying to act stupid now. Anyway,
well, you can actually download it right on your phone if you're in a Wi-Fi hotspot. Yeah.
Well, if that's a legitimate Wi-Fi hotspot, or if it's the NSA with a fake cell tower, so that all of the calls in the local area become rerouted through theirs, and they can snoop on everything. Because I was listening to an interview on Coast to Coast with that. Anyway, I digress. It's on a website called freedomizerradio.com. That's FREEDOMIZER. Freedomizerradio.com. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. You can go on iTunes and search Eccentric Perspective and sign up for the podcast. So then you get those delivered to you like your milk in the 1950s on your front porch. Delicious with your Cheerios. You
got to shake it up. Yeah.
You got to shake it up. But Cheerios shook it up. Did you see they're going non-GMO? They're having.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention the other thing with the Cheerios, the MSNBC.
Let's talk about that, too. And Blake is on Twitter at Eccentric99. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. And real quick, before we get to the pressing matter of Cheerios, check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. Follow us on Twitter at American_media_ on Facebook. Do a search. You got to search for The New American Media with spaces in between and like our page. And youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Subscribe to that. And definitely give us your thoughts on melting snow. Apparently it's one of our biggest videos ever for holding a Bic lighter to a chunk of snow. We'll talk about that too. But before we talk about the pressing matter of snow, Blake, let's talk about Cheerios. By the way, I wanted to say that Cheerios has kind of... Cheerios came out earlier this month. But they have announced that they are going to be genetically modified organism free, GMO free. At least they're going to offer that as a version of their product because they're getting a lot of pressure. And so Cheerios is doing that. And kudos to Cheerios. Wait, does that same brand own Kudos?
Cheerio.
Do they own Kudos? Those granola bars?
General Mills, I think, isn't?
Well, hell, kudos to Cheerios. But anyway, yeah, non-GMO, which is awesome. But tell me about the MSNBC thing in the was it MSNBC I'm thinking of with the Cheerios tweets? Tell us about that.
Yeah, apparently there's I don't know if it was a Super Bowl commercial or something, but it was a commercial for Cheerios, and the MSNBC tweeted out that, the right wing is going to hate this commercial, and it was because the family portrayed in the commercial was biracial. So it was like just super offensive. Like, really? Are they really going to the... I mean, MSNBC is notorious for just race. Everything was, Melissa Harris Perry, Al Sharpton, Chris Matthews. I mean, it's always anything critical of the president. It's always race. It's constantly. They're always talking about that. They're getting themselves in trouble. Of course, Martin Bashir just got let go, and of course, Melissa Harris Perry had to apologize to Mitt Romney because they adopted a black baby girl, I think. And then, of course, they were talking about this biracial family. So they sent out an offensive tweet saying, "Oh, the right wing is going to hate this" or whatever. And so then the right people that got upset because then there were people that were Republican or were conservative, whatever, right wing, and they are part of biracial families. So they were tweeting out pictures of themselves. And I want to say, I don't know if it was on Twitchy, but I think Michelle Malkin was involved in that, and they were tweeting that out. There was a good article by The Blaze. I actually did tweet that out from a couple days ago. You can check that out on my feed, and it shows all these pictures. They made a big hashtag for Twitter. I forget it was called, like, My Biracial Family or whatever, and it was to basically throw it in MSNBC's face. Of course, they got in big trouble. Reince Priebus, head of the Republican National, Chairman, National Republican, whatever it is. But he was out there. He was saying no Republicans can be on MSNBC. I think it was Phil Griffin of NBC had to come out and apologize. They fired the staffer that tweeted that offensive tweet out. And, that was pretty much the end of that.
Yeah. Well, just to imagine it on the other side. It's this whole racist, sexist, bigot, this whole mantra, this whole calling card, this stale, faded bumper sticker. And thankfully I'm seeing less hope and change bumper stickers these days, but Lord almighty. Maybe that's for Cash for Clunkers that took them all off the road. I don't know. But, so much of this stuff is just manufactured astroturf, to coin a phrase. It's just kind of astroturf stuff. Nobody has heard the name Kelly Thomas, the white homeless man who was beat to death by a Latino police officer in Fullerton, California, on video, on audio. But we heard everything about the white Hispanic George Zimmerman, whatever the heck that means, because that was never a term until they wanted it to be so, until MSNBC edited the tapes to make it look like this was a racial thing when it wasn't. You hear the before and after. And everybody about Trayvon Martin, nobody knows the name Kelly Thomas, which is why we've tried covering it. But a lot of this stuff, this race baiting, I just don't understand it. And it's okay if the left or I mean, you say a minority group, but I mean, what is minority? Aren't they saying that Latinos are going to make up a larger percentage? Anyway, I don't have that stat in front of me. I'm not going to get into it.
Well, at some point, I guess we're all going to be. Yeah, I guess there's someday in the future, perhaps, I don't know, hundreds of years from now or thousands or whatever, there's going to be a lot fewer. Yeah, I think maybe we'll all just kind of eventually go to a nice shade of brown at some point, I guess, because you're going to get less, as people continue to interbreed, you're going to have less extreme white and black and other sorts. And, that'll be interesting in the future. Kind of think of that.
But I mean, MSNBC is constantly doing stuff to offend the other, because I don't know. I'm just trying to understand the mindset of a group that thinks it's okay to always bash everyone else and never look in the mirror and realize that they're probably worse than most of the things they imagine going on out there. I have never met a Klan member to my knowledge, and I'm halfway through my 30s. I've never met a Klan member, been to a Klan rally, or anything ridiculous like that. I've never been to a lynching, applauded a lynching, suggested any such things. I have never hired or fired people or recommended or suggested anything to anyone based on sex or race. I mean, for me, this stuff isn't a common occurrence. This isn't something that even exists in my world. But is it for ratings? Yeah. Is it out of desperation? Why do they keep going to this route?
Well, okay, yeah. First of all, I've kind of wanted to make that question of posing that to say conservatives, because you get all that baiting. You're saying, oh, these right wingers are all racist, Tea Party hillbillies. I'm just kind of curious if they made a poll question, let's say towards Tea Party or right wing, and they say put Larry Elder and Dr. Ben Carson and if we just put like several prominent black politicians, Alan West, Cynthia McKinney, just put a bunch of people up there that weren't Obama, and then maybe we put a whole bunch of different black folks, and then on the very last question will be none of the above because because I'm actually a racist. How many of them? How many people out there really are? They'd love to sit there and poke fun at the Tea Party. I mean, even Alan Grayson sent out that anti-Tea Party email with the burning cross on it. And it's like, how many do you really think are actual racists? Like they just hate, they just will not listen to anybody, or just don't like the president simply for the fact of just only his skin color only or whatever, just some deeply, racist thing. I think that's what is really fading out of society, and to me, it's a cowardly argument when they've got nothing else to talk about. They've got no argument. They can't engage with you on the facts and the issues. So the only thing they can say is if you're against Obama or any of his policies is, you must be a racist, and it's unfair.
I think it's ridiculous. But I guess that's what happens when you stoop to new lows, and you're losing your membership, you're losing your viewership rather, and really losing the public's trust. I really don't know who would trust him anyway. I don't know. To me, I don't care about it, and this whole. They're really trying to push into this immigration debate, and for some reason, John Boehner's on board with this, and it's like, it has nothing to do.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, no, that's one of the hot topics of the week. Certainly a big deal. Was it yesterday, I think? Yeah, when it seems like to be the big push, like the big issue. Only 3% of the American public, when they're faced with all the major issues going on in the world, only 3% think immigration's front and center on their radar. But yeah, they seem to be wanting to get some amnesty deal together for some odd reason. Actually, I think we kind of know the reason why, and it's very disturbing. But I don't know. Where do you want to go with that, Brian? Are we switching gears?
I don't know. You said it's the hot topic.
Immigration.
You said it
is, yeah.
Said it's a hot topic. I want to transition to lighting snow, but we'll hold off on that. I could have either transitioned to this snow thing where you and I have had a bit of a. Well, anyway, we'll talk about it. I like when we have these moments and we can hash them out. So I was either gonna segue Snowden into snow, and then you just said a hot topic, hence taking a Bic lighter to ice and getting the black smoke coming up and talking about that. But no, let's deal with immigration for a second, because that's kind of like an open thread. I just want to. I don't have many thoughts on it, but you really can't. And I've made this analogy so many times. I hate to do it again, but I will, because we've definitely found a lot of new listeners over the past couple of weeks when we were on Coast to Coast AM, and just with some of these videos and the music coverage that we've put out. So we have some new followers. But I've been a concert promoter several different stages of my life, back in college and then out here in Los Angeles. And when the first of 5 or 6 rock bands would perform, there were times that the band would come in, but as they were loading up the gear and before we were even open, their fans, their friends, their family, their girlfriends would kind of come in with them, and then they'd sit in the back room like, I'm not paying cover. No, I'm cool. No, I got in. I snuck in. I went in the back door. They go. So what do? I turn on the lights and go, all right, everybody, including band members, out. Walk through the front door. Band members get checked off. You get your smiley face. Everyone else pays your cover. You get your wristband. After you show your ID, and we're good to go. That's what needs to happen in this country because we've had people sneak in the back door at our concert. I don't care where they're from, whether it's Norway or Mexico. I could give a damn if their kid's name is, what was it, Bjorn Borg? What was the name of the one that from that article? Bjorn Borg? Who was it? Bjorn Sleeper?
Bard and Snorri.
Bard Snoring, or Julio Rodriguez. I don't care where you're coming from. Everybody out the door. Papers, please. Papers, please. We had to check IDs at the door. There was nothing racist. There was nothing sexist. There was nothing crazy about it. It's just everyone needs who are you? All right, cool. Pay your cover. All right, everybody's paid. Well, you're born with privilege. You're the promoter. No, I busted my ass. You know, and yeah, I followed this life path for a while. Well, you had the resources to... Whatever. What are you doing with yours besides complaining about what you don't have? Do something with yours. Sorry, I'm talking to a hypothetical person with a high-pitched, whiny voice.
No worries.
No, but you know, that's what immigration is. You got to... Number one, you got to close the door to keep more people from coming in first. I guess that's a step in between. If there are people coming in the back door, you lock that door first thing, and then you turn on the ugly lights in the back room. You say, everyone come on out to the front. You keep them inside. That's fine. All the illegal immigrants that have snuck in, trying to find work, trying to game the system, we'll sort that out in a second. But while you're here, everybody come in, and you're checking in with the front. Show your IDs. Let's get things sorted out. How much money do you owe? And then we go from there, and then we open the door up again. But, for me, immigration has got to start with, even before we get to the conversation, with securing the border. Number one, and I disagree with Ben Swann. I had a nice disagreement with him on that, because he said it's not possible, and he's been down there and toured it. I'm like, that is horse crap. In 2014, don't just tell me you need technology and drones. Build a damn wall. Or they'll build a fence, or they'll build a ladder. Then build a second wall with a moat in between. I don't care. This isn't impossible. We only have one southern border. Fix it. Instead of bailing out banks, instead of fighting foreign wars. Can we just build this infrastructure so more people aren't sneaking in? Sorry, I guess I had more thoughts on illegal immigration than I thought I did. I'm going to pass it over to you. What am I saying that's right? What am I saying that's crazy?
No, it's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting point by Ben Swann. Yes, he's from Texas, so I'm assuming he does have knowledge of that, and I know has done extensive work with looking at the cartels and that activity over there. So I'll take his word on that. I don't know exactly what they can do or what not. But the point is, they really aren't enforcing the laws at all. And the people that are in ICE, was it immigrations, custom enforcement, whatever, they're not able to do their jobs, and they're not able to meet with the president and express their concerns. It's as if the administration does not care. And in fact, speaking of racism, they go after, say, like Sheriff Arpaio, like him or hate him. He's does enforce the laws, doesn't allow the illegals, but then they go after him because he's racial profiling.
Hold on, they being President Barack Obama and Attorney General Eric Holder. They.
Yeah, pretty much.
In La Raza.
They're not enforcing the laws. It basically just seems like it's totally wide open, and and the immigration thing. They're not going to be able to just create just grant amnesty to, I don't know if there's between 10 and perhaps 30 million illegal immigrants that are in this country. It's absolutely going to overwhelm the economy. Now, I'm not also I don't believe in just kicking them all out. I can only imagine the logistics of trying to round up 10 to 30 million people and then just trying to send them to wherever they came from. I don't know if that's possible either. So what I'd like to see, although it's going to be very difficult because it would also involve getting rid of the Federal Reserve banking system and starting the economy over, would be to keep them, allow them to earn a path to citizenship the way a lot of our ancestors did by perhaps working some, maybe doing some not so great jobs for a few years while they, build themselves like many of our ancestors did. I'm, half Irish, so I know, I'm sure when they came over here from Ireland back in the day, and they had to do all the jobs that nobody else wanted and worked on the railroads and stuff like that. And many other immigrants did the same thing, worked their way in here, and they had their kids, and they earned their way in. So as long as they're here, I would like to see the economy started over, maybe reboot the economy, and then put these guys to work for a few years, whether that would be in factories or maybe on farms, creating new exports for the United States. We need to build up our manufacturing base so we can start exporting goods again and so we can kind of appease people for all the debts that we've created over the years. Of course, default on the Federal Reserve, or default on our debt, get rid of the Federal Reserve. We can keep the people here. But one of the most important things is that these people will have to learn the language, they'll have to learn the culture, respect the Constitution, know where we come from, and they will not be able to vote for several years. I think that is the very key thing, because that is the only reason why I would see that they would want the immigrants to stay here, why they would want to create amnesty for all of these people, is simply because they are losing their credibility, and the only way that they can save themselves in future elections would be to get a bunch of foreigner people that don't understand the language, don't understand our culture, don't respect the Constitution, don't know our history, and will vote for basically the Democrat Party and vote for free handouts. And I want to say the Democratic Party. The thing that this is not John F. Kennedy's Democratic Party. This is a new
Saul Alinsky
giant government party. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Saul Alinsky Democratic Party. It's a socialist communist Democratic Party. This is a William Ayres Democratic Party. This is not JFK. You are so right about that.
Yeah, so that's pretty scary to have a bunch of people that barely speak English, don't understand the Constitution, don't understand sovereignty, and just to go in there and do whatever, basically have Nancy Pelosi and Chucky Schumer say, okay, vote to take away their guns, and we don't care about private property, and we want, handouts for everybody. I mean, it's going to be a disaster, and it's going to implode the country. And, could you imagine how, to basically fix an election by getting a bunch of people that don't understand our culture and just have them vote? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So that's my concern with that. I think that's a lot of people's concern with that. So I think if there's any quick fix to the immigration thing, if they want to really do this, and I don't think it's going to work within the framework of the system because we don't have the jobs to begin with. We're already struggling with our economy. We're already struggling with Obamacare and the welfare state and all the handouts. To be putting all of these people, making them official, is absolutely going to break the back of our economy and our country. So I think the one thing that they should say, no matter what, is that these people cannot vote till at least 2020. And since they're here illegally, then they should have to work a few years at least to earn their path to citizenship. I think that's fair rather than get sent back home or whatever.
Well, okay,
I think they would probably go for that too.
Well, and here's the thing. Rush has talked about this. Rush Limbaugh has mentioned, he's like, and the thing that these Republicans don't understand, the John Boehner type of the Republican Party, the establishment, Lindsey Graham. Can you say Lindsey Graham?
Sorry. Just because Jon Stewart did that last night on his show.
Oh, did he?
Lindsey Graham. Yeah, he was doing all the accents. Oh my, Lindsey Graham.
Oh my. I didn't say, man. I never check out the Daily Show or Colbert Report anymore. I keep forgetting I even have Comedy Central. Anyway, no, I mean Lindsey Graham, John McCain, the establishment, big government progressives. What Rush keeps saying is like, what these guys don't understand is, okay, fine. So you want to say you can come in, but you can't vote. You can come in, you got to pay a fee, get out of the shadows, pay taxes. You know what the very next election is going to be? Well, this is inhumane. This is a civil rights violation. How dare these people be treated differently than others? It'll be the very next thing out of their mouths. But for me, all right, so we're not going to round up X amount of people and ship them out of the country. If that's what is chosen. I don't know. I'm not pulling for it, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense. So let's not do that. But
yeah, I can imagine the logistics of that. I can only imagine trying to round up that many people, and oh god.
Well, I mean,
so
look,
I think you give them that
a,
ultimatum. I mean, unless they're really smart, if they know the language and they're skilled, then maybe they can get a fast track somewhere else. But and I know they've probably been doing crappy jobs for a number of years, so maybe that'll factor into it. But I'm saying you're here illegally. What would you rather do? I mean, if you were from some awful, you want to have an opportunity here and rebuild our new country together, and that'd be fine with that. But I don't know. We'll see what they think.
Okay. Well, so if a certain country, so Oaxaca, so if you go ahead and normalize or legalize, but not let these people become citizens. How many people came from Oaxaca? Okay, 1.3 million came from Oaxaca. Okay, so then in the future, now that this double wall is built and nobody else is sneaking in, Oaxaca cannot have legal immigration from that country since they jumped ahead of the line of everybody waiting patiently for 10, 15 years, filling out their paperwork, taking their citizenship test, doing it the right way. Oaxaca is now banned from having people come in here for how many decades? I don't know, 5, 6, 100 years. Nobody from that country can come in because we got a massive swarm of that many people from Germany, from Canada, from Mexico, from Honduras, from Nicaragua. Sorry, I felt like throwing in an obligatory Nicaragua. And that made me thirsty for agua. Hold on, station identification break. Have some coconut water, Blake. Go ahead. Okay.
Got it right here.
Nicaragua. Right. It's agua, water. That means water. No, but I mean that should be a part of it. Is what country did you come from? Tally those numbers up and say there is a limit on how many people can come in from that country because you have jumped in line. You have flooded your culture in here, and now that you're here, the people behind you are going to get screwed. And ask the people of that country, are you okay with that? Because that should be a part of it too. You don't just hit reset and go, well, here we are now, just keep things going. No. What are the repercussions? Okay, so don't go to jail. Now you got to pay a fee. You got to pay taxes. Okay, you pay a fee. You're paying taxes. But, I mean, this is a situation where there is not a lot of employment. You look at the cooked books unemployment numbers aren't very good. The long-term unemployed, not very good. The jobs that are getting phased out and turned into robots, UPS drivers, if you go down the list with Amazon using drones. I saw a beer company testing out how to deliver a 12-pack to your door with a drone. I'm like, oh, where was this in college? Where was this in college? Anyway, but I mean, that's got to be part of it, is you have to look at what impact it is. And as far as voting, if you have cheated and you're not going to get kicked out, then there should be a lifetime ban on voting, because this isn't your country. I can't sneak into Canada and start demanding you need to let me vote for my American policies here. That's not my country. Well, I've been here for a long time. You have? Well, good. How about you go through the front door and do it properly? Show your ID and pay your cover charge. Get your wristband. Just to go into someone else's country and start demanding stuff. I just don't get it. I've been to Jamaica. I've been to the Cayman Islands. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Canada. I've been a couple of places, man. And I don't go there and stay there and start demanding stuff. This whole concept of voting or pathway to citizenship, I don't know. You kind of screwed up the citizenship when you decided not to become a citizen and sneak in. I don't know how it's like, all right, well, come on, be a citizen now. You've been screwing us for how long? All right, go ahead. And what about Obamacare? Is there going to be a lifetime ban on any of these normalized or legalized but non-citizens from ever participating in Obamacare? What about their kids? Does it pass along to their kids? I mean, it's just there's a financial component to this that is far-reaching. It's something that really needs a little bit more attention than some idiot politicians from Republican and Democratic Party are going to give us. There's a lot of nuances to this, Blake.
Yeah, no, it's just unusual. I don't understand how they want to try to do this within the framework of the broken system where the economy is so lousy and we can't get our own people jobs. So it doesn't make any sense unless you think of it from the standpoint of it's a voting block, and that's the only way I can even see it. So until I see these, GOP guys start saying, okay, we can think about this, but here's the one catch: they are not allowed to vote until 2020 or 2021, something like that.
Ever. No, I'm serious.
As soon as they learn the language, they learn our culture, and they respect
I don't know
the
about that. I don't know about that.
You can't bring a bunch of people in from third world countries that don't know anything about our culture and then just go, oh, okay, here, you're a citizen now. Now you can go vote. And by the way, you want to vote this and this and this on this issue and that issue and whatever.
Vote here to get free health care. Vote here to get free housing. Yeah. By the way, free means we're already $17 trillion on a credit card with how many? Was it $65 trillion on unfunded liabilities or 180? I can't even keep track of our unfunded liabilities.
1.5 quadrillion. I don't know, and all the derivatives that are out there. I mean, it's a disaster. So it has to. Yeah, we have to wipe that thing out.
But then tell me, because I don't understand why people that have broken serious laws, many have put a large strain on our economy. You go into emergency rooms, you use public school systems, but you're not paying into the system. Take, but you're not putting. You keep taking M&Ms, but you're never putting any back in. Why are you saying that it's okay to let these people vote in 6 years once they pass a test, as opposed to, hey, we're not going to kick you out, but you're never allowed to vote. You didn't do it the right way. You're not going to hijack our government, and that's just the way it's going to be. Explain that to me.
Yeah. They can maybe vote in the system where we get rid of the Federal Reserve, we go back to our Constitution, we get back to where what made America great again, and these people could get excited and learn the language and learn the culture and learn the Constitution, and then maybe I wouldn't care if they voted or not. But just to grant amnesty to all these people, and including, I think, their families, I think that'll extend so then they can just bring their families in here as well.
Lord, you gotta be kidding me.
And that becomes, and then we're going to let them vote? That's insane. Unless, of course, you're in a lot of trouble and you realize that both these, GOP and the Democratic Party are both dying. And, the only way that they can stay relevant and, stay in control would be to get some new people to vote for them. And they said the Democratic Party, one of the main reasons they got into civil rights movement was not because they were such good people, was because they wanted to get all of the minorities on their side and turn into that voting base. So that helped them tremendously back in the day, and now they're basically just doing the same thing except even more extreme. And then, for people that don't understand our culture, and they're just going to vote for whatever the Democrats want. And that's that's going to lead us basically into a state of neo-feudalism, maybe something out of the Hunger Games or something like that. And I'd rather not live like that.
Wow. Yeah, I have... This whole issue of you're just saying that because, or you think lesser of because, and because you get into this issue of racism, you get into this issue, it's not going to silence me. I don't talk about this topic a lot. I live in Southern California. I look around, I legitimately have no idea how many of my friends and neighbors are here legally and not here legally. What I'm talking about is purely economic. Look at it. Look at the situation that if you make these people instant citizens, they now get free health care that isn't free, that our taxes have to go up for, my health insurance has to go up for. They get tax subsidies and child care credits and public housing that my property taxes have to go up for. You go across the board, most of these people coming in or that are already here, they're not engineers over at Boeing. They're not bringing in $350,000 a year that are adding M&Ms to the pile. They're hungry and they're taking, and I don't blame that. I don't blame that situation on them. If I were in those shoes, I would want to do that too. And I respect anybody that's not stealing from me or punching me in the face. Unless or until somebody does me wrong, I don't care either way. Do your thing. I'm very libertarian in that respect. But you know what's going to happen with the MSNBCs, the Sharptons, the Jacksons, the Holders, the Napolitanos, the She Napolitanos.
Janet Napolitano, not Judge.
Yeah, not
Janet, not
Andrew.
Judge, not Andrew.
Janet, not Judge. Barack Obama. You know what they're going to try to do, and this is going to turn into a circus. It's going to be an absolute circus, and it's going to be, hey, pin the tail on Whitey. Oh, it's the white man keeping you down. Nope, this is a thing where, look, they have everything and they're keeping it from you. They're the 1%. Nope, look at how unfair and biased the system is. Slavery. This country was founded on complete improper principles. We got to replace the Constitution. I think that's what Bill Ayers just said in a debate with Dinesh D'Souza. Was that this week? Did you see that one?
I saw it reported today. I saw it in a few different spots. I think it was on The Blaze, and I saw it on WorldNet Daily. Yeah, I didn't dig into it too much. I mean, Bill Ayers makes me sick. D'Souza is a nice enough guy. I don't, it wasn't. I probably should take a look at it. I'm mildly curious, but no, I didn't really dig into it a whole lot, though.
I'm just saying, you know how this is going to play out, and I'm not looking forward to the way this is going to play out. And it's the economics of our Great Recession is not over, despite whatever cookbook figures that you're being spoon-fed. There aren't enough jobs here. We flood the market with more people willing to work for cheaper. It puts the people who are here legally at a much higher disadvantage trying to keep those meager jobs that they do have. And that's a serious thing. That is serious.
And driving down wages, yeah.
Yeah, working for cheap.
I mean,
driving down the wages.
Yeah, if we could start, right? Yeah, if we could start the whole system over, and we had that many people, and we had extra labor, then I guess maybe we could start cutting hours. Maybe we can start doing away with the 40-hour work week. I don't know, but I mean there is a solution for all of this stuff, but it's probably not going to come from the present. People that are presently inhabiting D.C. right now.
Rest assured, John Boehner, Lindsey Graham, John McCain, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Eric Holder, Napolitano, these people are not going to provide something that's going to be good for the American people. I would bet, what's that phrase, dollars to donuts? What a stupid phrase. Where does that even come from? I'm sure it's from somewhere, but it's not going to be a solution that works. And what is it, 3% of the people think that's important? 3%? I mean, there's no this needs to be all about Obamacare. I was lied to by my president. I was told, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Period. Well, you know what? I lost my health care plan. I had my doctor taken away, and my health insurance rate went up more than $100 a month. Hey, I'm a young man doing my thing. $100 a month on something that I reluctantly was paying in the first place. The health insurance that, you know what? That's a huge hit, and that's a huge lie. And this 2014 needs to be a clean sweep of all big government progressives in the Republican and Democratic parties. I don't want to drop the ball. I don't want to lose focus on this. I want this president politically neutered. I want Obamacare repealed, and I know it's going to take the next president. This needs to go, and that's where I want to kind of keep the focus on is the ACA, this huge lie, this Obamacare thing that is nothing affordable in the Affordable Care Act. And I really don't want to get too distracted with immigration. We have a legal immigration system. Use it. Just keep using it and stop coming in. I don't know, man. I don't really want to get into this issue. There's so many more important issues facing us.
Well, you're right. It was a big issue because that was like the headline story on Drudge yesterday. It was Ted Cruz saying that the House GOP's amnesty push will ruin the hopes of retaking Senate. Because, that's all they really got to do is just sit there and focus 2014 and focus on Obamacare. That's all they got to do. The only thing that could, stand in the way of a sweep in the elections this year would be to grant amnesty to a ton of people, to millions of people who might change the outcome of the vote.
Yeah. Well, that being said, I want to talk about something else. Maybe start speeding some of these topics up a little bit here and wrap up. I know you have a few things pulled up in front of you. I want to talk about Really quick, we posted this video. We had seen something that what was it? Someone in Philadelphia got a snowball and she lit it with her Bic lighter and it wasn't melting. It was turning black and smelled like plastic. Was the report? Was the video? So my brother's like, okay, interesting. So he grabs his camera. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go try this. Does this happen here? Okay, he does it. Same thing. The snowball is not dripping water, and it's charring black, and it reeks like smoke, or like plastic, burning plastic. And, so we put this video out there, and I'm telling you, in what, a day and a half, this thing, and we don't have the millions and millions of eyes and ears yet. We're going to, and we're getting more and more.
You didn't try to publish it either. You just popped it up on the site.
I just threw it up there. I'm like, yeah, someone saw this thing, and okay, now he checked this thing, and yes, it smells like plastic, and yes, it's turning black. Why does snow turn black? And okay, interesting. And I've smelled lighters for a long time that don't smell like plastic. It's butane. It's not plastic. There's a big difference.
Yeah, it's not some cheap lighter. Yeah, right.
And anybody that's ever held a lighter, the smell of a lighter, and that's, well, why is water making it smell like plastic? Now all of this stuff is set with the backdrop of, especially in Ohio, with the fracking. I've been hearing more and more stories of earthquakes because whatever they're pumping into the ground, it's lubricating the plates, and you have running up there. What is that, through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana is the New Madrid fault line.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the New Madrid, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, in West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Kentucky, they're doing this fracking. So I've seen the movie Gasland, where the guy lights the water coming from his tap, and it lights on fire. So, I'm hearing about more Ohio earthquakes that are unprecedented until all of this fracking started happening. You have Fukushima that's been, it's been irradiating this planet for the past 2.5 years. You're hearing stories of wildlife die-offs, the seafloor being covered with dead fish, tumors on some of the animals that they are catching, from the salmon to the trout, whatever is out there. And that a lot of radiation is showing up on the west coast of the United States. And mixed in is all the chemtrail activity. By the way, before I finish this snow thing, did Snowden release something in that Ben Swann thing talking about chemtrails? I've seen a couple stories on it, but I haven't had a chance to dig into it. Have you seen that?
Not that I picked up. I don't think I've ever heard anything about chemtrails from Edward Snowden. Okay,
because I just had somebody, Jimmy posted on the Facebook page that Snowden released information saying that that there is an active chemtrail program going on in the United States to kind of combat global warming, which is kind of what I thought was happening anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he leaks anything. I think he leaves it up to the journalists. That's what's in the interview. He's leaving it up to the journalists to decide what's in the public interest. So he's not going to release any of that classified information unless somebody else does first.
Yeah, I had somebody just say that it came out in a recent interview. Then it came out in a recent interview that chemtrail. So anyway, with the backdrop of chemtrails and all the questions there, and fracking, especially in Ohio, my homeland. And the Fukushima stuff. When you start hearing stories or seeing stuff, it's like, why is ice not melting when you put flame to it? I feel like I've done this before. And I don't have any snow. I can't go out in my backyard. So anyway, I put it up there, and you know what? In like a day and a half, it's become like our 7th most popular video ever in the past 2.5 years, and it's probably going to surpass everything. It's a freaking clump of ice and a Bic lighter. I'm like, really? All the interviews we've done, whether it's Gary Johnson or presidential candidates on this program, really important issues covering the Kelly Thomas murder. Really, a Bic lighter and snow is more comments on that video than anything else. And so, anyway, let me back away now, because I think I've set the premise up, because you started a text conversation back and forth with me, jumping in with what?
Oh, well, you told me about the story. I looked into it. It was intriguing because I didn't have any idea. And, yeah, you see your brother, and he was just a legitimate thing. Just to see, because he apparently had stumbled on these videos, so he grabbed some snow outside of his house in Ohio, started melting it, and then you see where it's not really like melting so much, and then you see like it turns black, and you're like, how is that even possible? Like maybe yeah, is there something wrong? Like you said, I don't really get into chemtrails, but I mean, it's almost like, is there something in the water or something that's in this snow, or why does it smell like plastic? Obviously, I can only see it on the YouTube. So I kind of was digging into it, and then once I was done with all of my news research of the day, I was going to I'm going to go check out that story from Brian. I'm going to see if I can retweet it, and then I'm going through, and then I was looking at Twitter, and I saw both Mark Dice and Paul Joseph Watson were sending out videos, like, debunking the hoax of they called it the snow tards or something like that. And yeah, they were kind of mean and condescending about it. But I mean, it was a legitimate thing, and it was just like, oh, okay, well, people just didn't understand, I guess, the chemical process, I guess, of how that works. If the snow is just automatically evaporates instead of turning into water first, or I don't know. But I mean, it was kind of hard to believe, like, the entire, these snow across the United States was all, tainted with whatever. But it was interesting, and it was worth checking out. And but it appeared to be just a hoax. And I think Paul Joseph Watson said something later, like, this could be the hoax of the year, because they're just getting bombarded with all this stuff. People, sending out all these, emails like, oh my God, have you seen this? And yeah, it's kind of creating a little bit of a hysteria. So, but so far it appears to be debunked, and people are encouraged to go check that out for themselves. I'm not a scientist. I can't explain the chemical process of how it does
what?
Work
and that's,
or not work.
And that's exactly where I'm coming from. I have a degree in psychology, a minor in journalism. I've been a concert promoter. I've worked in the talent as a talent agent. I've done a lot of different things. I do radio, run a website, serve on different boards of directors, this, that, and the other. I have a skill set, but I'm not a chemist. I took a couple of classes a decade and a half ago. Fantastic. But for me, I really feel like I have taken a clump of snow and set it to flame of some sort, and it's melted. And this was just charring black and smoking. And the smell of burnt plastic seemed weird, because I've smelled plenty of Bic lighters over my day, and I haven't smelled them like plastic. But what's interesting to me, and I put it up there, I said, Ohio snow doesn't melt. Can a chemist please explain this?
Right.
And I mean that. And obviously in the title, people are taking it seriously. Actually, let me pull it up real quick, just for S's and giggles.
Yep.
I suppose. Here, let me put this in here. But the amount of comments that we've received on this, it's kind of mind-boggling. We're over 6,000 views in like a day and a half, which is kind of a lot. And as far as the comments, we're at 46 comments in a day and a half, and we're getting all sorts of different comments. Here's the thing. I'm sorry, I asked for a chemist explanation. I don't think Paul Joseph Watson or Mark Dice, I don't think that they have a chemistry degree. I could be totally wrong here.
I'd say no. I think actually no. Yeah,
I could totally be the... What's that?
Yeah, no. Mark Dice has a PhD in sarcasm, and no, actually, I think he's a communications guy. And Paul Joseph's a journalist, right? All right, but
no, and the weird thing is,
I'm big fans of those guys. I'm not, but I mean, they were a little mean about it. It'd be kind of like, hey guys, well,
honestly,
I know people are getting excited about that, but he's like, oh, you guys are snow tards. You're stupid. Oh my God, I can't believe you believe that.
And where did I say I believe anything? Where did my brother say he believes anything? Put the lighter to it.
This is what
you
said. It was 100% fact, and you're an idiot if you believe that it's not from chemtrails.
This is indisputable proof that Fukushima is landing radioactive fake snow in Ohio. I'm telling you, people, you need to do something about it. In the State of the Union, why aren't you talking about this? No, I didn't do that. My brother didn't do that.
Fracking Fukushima chemtrail snow with nanotech particles.
That fracking
the Illuminati
Fukushima.
Conspiracy.
Now you're in the Dice territory. No, I mean, it's just interesting because my brother had actually responded to Mark Dice directly after he does his annual Grammy Satan thing where he talks Illuminati and everything's Illuminati, right. This and that. And my brother replied to him. He said, have you considered that you might actually be advertising for the Illuminati by doing all this stuff, if there is a thing? And apparently right afterward, my brother's like, dude, I think it struck a nerve. Apparently he launched a new video like right after that addressing my brother's question. And so my brother replied back something like, hey, you know, that's fine. You know, we do a radio show, agree to disagree with the new American media. We should have you on. And in fact, I was on a radio show with Mark Dice. It was National Hangover Day, December 22nd, 2012. I was on.
Yeah, I listened to that.
Yeah, I was on Coast to Coast AM with Dan Johnson from PANDA, People Against NDAA, and Mark Dice was the 3-hour guest. You know, we all know each other, at least peripherally. We're 1 degree separated. My brother invited him on the show, and then he did a video and lashed out at, am I advertising the Illuminati? And so then my brother puts this video up. I toss it out there, and I swear. I swear, it just kind of seemed like some of the venom was, what's this guy up to? Oh, that tard is trying to light snow? Now, it might not have been directly related back to him, but I know you've said that to me before, too. You put a video out, and then you get a response, you're like, I know you guys are watching our stuff. I know that was probably directed right at me. I don't know how to prove that, but...
Yeah, speaking of that, yeah, Mark Dice, because I did put out a video a few years ago. It was about Fox News, because I was attacking Hannity at the time, but because Mark Dice had also attacked Hannity a couple times. And in the video, I actually posted it. It was published on the Activist Post, and it was 3 videos. One of them was me, one of them was Mark Dice, and the other one, I think it was maybe a Fox News clip or something. But I kind of used like Mark Dice's background that he sometimes has with the, he's got like a bookshelf, you know, it's got all of his books, but then of course I don't have as many books. I have a ton of movies. I'm more of the Holly weird guy. So I kind of put up a background of my movies or whatever. And then the next time that Mark Dice did a video, he got rid of his background entirely, like for the first time. And I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I struck a nerve or whatever he did wasn't. You know, I don't know how he took it or have you, but you know, yeah, Mark Dice is you know, I like overall most of his work. Yeah, he can be a little bit extreme, be a little bit vicious, maybe a little mean to people, but you know, overall, you know, I kind of like the message. And your brother's a good guy. He was just trying to, you know, follow up on this whole, you know, snowball thing. It wasn't done like intentionally, like, oh, let's try to, you know, fool a bunch of people and make them feel stupid or anything like that. It was a legitimate thing. We didn't know, and nobody understood the chemistry or whatever of that. So it was, you know, there doesn't need to be, you know, taking, you know, be, you know, referred to as a snow tard or anything like that. It was just hey, here's an educational moment. No, as an interesting hoax type of thing, but this isn't, you know, this is why the snow behaves that way.
Well, you know,
if you put it in a microwave, it'll melt. But you know, now it's a
here's the thing. My fellow Americans, folks, women should be paid the same as men, and ice should melt, and the sky is blue. Right. Anyway, no, but you know, we put this video out here, and we get comments like this guy saying, hi, my snow in Colorado is not, I said capital N-O-T, doing that, and I used a lighter and then a candle. It is turning slushy as soon as the flame gets near it, and it's dripping clear water like drops quite quickly, both inside and outside of the house. But this guy's done like at least 4 experiments so far. Inside, outside the house, Bic lighter, and a candle. So he's done this 4 times, capital N-O-T doing what's happening in the video. It's dripping clear water like drops quite quickly, both inside and outside of the house, but at no time does it turn black or stink or smell or glop up like plastic. I hard-packed 1 cup of it and let it slowly melt to room temperature with no flame, and I got exactly 110 milliliters of a clear liquid. Can you see how much you get from 1 tightly packed cup? Thank you and many blessings. These people... 110 milliliters. I hard-packed 1 cup of inside and outside with a can. Like, there are legitimate science fair projects occurring right now thanks to this stinking video. I think it's hilarious. But when you see, this is not happening to me in Colorado. I think someone in Connecticut, this is not happening to me here. I just went out and tried it. This did not happen. Oh, I live in Ohio too. This just happened to me. You know, and I'm getting every sort of answer, every confirmation, and every debunking possible. Be like, oh, anything happens when you put flame to it, it will soot. No, that's not the case. Da, 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 da. These rants and counter rants, it just kind of goes back and forth. Snow is a natural insulator. Da, 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 da. It just This one person, I'm currently a science major at EMU, and to be honest, holding a lighter close to any object, besides wood or anything that can produce a flame, will get a black shard to look like it. Also, it's normal behavior for snow. If that snow you melted compacted anyway, and it will not melt. If it was loose powder, then it will melt. All over the snow is H2O. Da, 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 da. I mean, it just kind of keeps going on. Nice video, though. Very interesting. If something doesn't make sense, just reply, and I'll go more in depth on this. I'm going to share this with my professor who studies about snow and glaciers, etc. Something is striking a chord with people here, and I don't know that the science is settled because a couple of people have said that it is settled. I have no idea what's going on, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to check for yourself. You're not supposed to trust anything anyone tells you. You're supposed to go out and get facts for yourself. Blake, I would ask you to do it if you weren't living in Las Vegas. I'm sure you don't have a lot of snow in your backyard, right?
Yeah, and if I was back in my old home in Minnesota, I'm sure I'd have plenty of snow. We could experiment for until probably the middle of May. Or no, actually, I have no idea how long the winter is going to last up there. But yeah, I'll have to. Maybe I'll send that to one of my buddies, see if they've heard of this kind of viral hoax that's going on. Well, as far as I know, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some contaminated water somewhere with its fracking Fukushima water somewhere that maybe does have a different effect when you light it, or maybe it's releasing some sort of toxic gas. Yeah, especially if it's some frozen fracking water or something like that. I don't know, but it was a cool video. It was worth looking into. There's no reason to just be a jerk about it. For the people that thought they went with it, it's good to just debunk it, put say, hey, this is why it does this or whatever. But it gets people thinking, and it was fun, and I think that's really all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Check out the video, offer your thoughts, and do your own experiments. I don't know, but I know that I'm really curious what could or could not be being sprayed on people through chemtrails, if there is such a thing. I definitely know that Fukushima is still a problem, and how could that be affecting our atmosphere? This has been going on for 2.5 years. Fracking, we don't know what's going on. It's interesting.
Fukushima, maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple of hot particles floating around. I don't know if it would actually contaminate the water in quite that regard, but who knows? What if you did? What if you took some of that really radioactive seawater and had it? What could you do? There's got to be a way to turn that into snow at some point. And what would what would be the properties of that? That'd be an interesting experiment. Not that I want to play around with that stuff. Somebody else.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to take a bath.
Those homeless people that's cleaning up the reactors with duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape will fix anything. If it's not moving and it's supposed to, use WD-40. If it's moving and it's not supposed to, use duct tape. Done. That'll fix everything on the planet, except a nuclear reactor. Anyway, do you have a couple of quick stories? Just a couple of quick headlines, because as we start wrapping things up here, I know I've kind of driven this whole damn thing with weirdness, but I'm not sure if you had any interesting things we didn't get a chance to talk about. I got to dig into this main core thing a little bit more. I just saw something. I'll wrap it up on this one. That 8 million names of Americans slated for detainment surfaces. This is off of the Liberty Digest. I haven't found it. I've seen it on InfoWars and some other places. It says, this report discloses that the government has been compiling a list of names since the 1980s called Main Core. This list contains names of people who it considers to be threats and would be victims of having their constitutional rights suspended in the event of an emergency or if martial law is declared. These people would be the first to be tracked, detained, questioned, and basically targeted for detention due to being labeled a threat of some source. There exists a database of Americans who often, for the slightest and most trivial reason, are considered unfriendly and who, in a time of panic, might be incarcerated. The database can identify and locate perceived enemies of the state almost instantaneously. So, I don't know, if you haven't ever studied fun stuff. You and I, hey man, I'll see you. I'm FEMA Region 9. Which one are you in?
Well, no, I'm also FEMA Region 9, and, so is Mark Dice. And then maybe, I can round us all up and we can argue about chemical snow.
You know what? That sounds fair. By the way, we still have an open invitation from Mark Dice. I don't have anything against the guy. Whatever. His methods are as pleasant to me as Alex Jones' methods sometimes. I like a lot of what they do. I love his Man on the Street where he exposes stupidity. But, I think I saw a Dice post about footage of Bieber shape-shifting reptilian. I'm like, all right.
No. He's a very good researcher. If he says anything like that, he does the real Illuminati stuff. I don't really get into that occult stuff. He's the expert on that. He's good at attacking kind of the weird people in Hollywood and the music industry with legitimate stuff. No, he's not a fan of David Icke from what I can tell, and he also goes after any of the kind of fringy conspiracy theorists that talk about reptiles and stuff like that. So I can guarantee that he's probably ripping on people who he probably found a conspiracy theory out there where people think Bieber's a reptilian, and he's probably got a sarcastic video ripping on those people for believing in such silliness, if I had to guess without seeing the video. But yes, he's an entertaining guy, someone interesting to follow on Twitter and such. He puts out lots of videos.
Well, we still have an open invite for Dice. So open invite. You're welcome. I agree to disagree. Whatever's clever, man. No, any thoughts on Bieber? He just got arrested again today. They pulled over his jet going to the Super Bowl because it reeked of pot. I mean, like it's like a daily occurrence. I've never talked about Bieber before, but I mean, seriously, man. Any thoughts on this kid at this point?
I think he's on the downward spiral. Looks like he's trying. He's trying to. He's like freaking out, and now he's like, I don't know exactly what's going through his head, or if he's trying to shake his old image, much like Miley Cyrus, trying to reinvent himself as more of a bad boy. But yeah, he could be getting himself in trouble in a few different countries, a couple different states. So he's in trouble in California, Florida. I think he was just in South America getting himself into trouble. Now he went back to his native Canada and was like attacking a limo driver, and now he's at the Super Bowl. I heard the story about something to do with weed and the Super Bowl, but I didn't even look into it. It's just like, oh God, here we go again.
His private jet was pulled over after reeking of marijuana. Whatever the case is, I don't know. You brought it up. You brought the Biebs up. No, but. What about this with the Super Bowl?
That was Mark Dice. That wasn't my fault.
Fair enough. What about the Super Bowl?
All right,
I'm looking on Drudge, and it's talking about the Super Bowl. It says super security takes over Super Bowl. Hidden snipers deployed in stadium. Black Hawk helicopters on alert. F-16s prepared to scramble. I mean, is all this necessary, Blake?
I'd like to. Yeah, speaking of that, Mark Dice has a video about that, going after the people that are worried about the Super Bowl becoming a false flag.
Is he calling them supertards?
Basically, he's being heavily sarcastic. He goes after the people that there's a lot of conspiracy. He basically wants to kind of clean up the conspiracy theory people into because you know how people lump all conspiracy theorists into one group, and it's like they just assume you believe everything. Like you believe, if you believe, whatever you believe, the Federal Reserve, is done with nefarious purposes in the IRS. Okay, that's one thing, and then they just automatically assume, well, you must believe that people are reptiles and stuff like that, and no. That's not really fair. I like David Icke. I'm a fan of David Icke, but that doesn't mean I, believe in. You got to draw that distinction. But there are a lot of people that just jump on every fringy conspiracy theory out there. Apparently, there's like a Super Bowl false flag hoax almost every year. Although last year it was kind of weird with the power went out for like 33 minutes, and it was kind of something kind of shady going on there.
How many minutes was that?
Exactly 33, like 33 degrees of Freemasonry.
How many
those Illuminati things?
How many people? How many couples were married at the Grammys?
Was it 33?
Ding ding.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yippers.
I knew that they were marrying couples, but I didn't know it was exactly 33. Yeah, then they had the Katy Perry Illuminati Satan, I don't know, ritual, whatever that is. I don't know.
I don't know how that's
crazy
quickly described as satanic, as I've been to some pagan ceremonies, and pagan doesn't mean evil, and occult doesn't mean evil. Pagan is an old world religion, and there are similar things occurring with fires and flames and dancing, and I've never heard Satan uttered at some of these things.
Well, it's not necessarily against Freemasonry, but I don't know if it's some like old, ancient Babylonian festival witchcraft. I have no idea. You have to consult with the Dice Man on that stuff, because he's definitely the expert when it comes to the music industry and the Illuminati and all that stuff, or the real stuff, the real more provable stuff. So people can go check that out. But yeah, there's another, I don't know, perhaps a hoax email. I got one myself. You could probably find these kind of things on, Before It's News or something like that, where they have sort of deal with this stuff. Perhaps they're going to, blow up the, the stadium, or they're going to set bombs off, and then they're going to have like choke points set up where people are going to get trapped inside. And it's really scary email. And of course, Mark Dice put out a video debunking that. And apparently every year there's a new Super Bowl false flag, oh my God, and then people get all worked up, and then he attacks those people because they give the real conspiracy theorists a bad name, basically, is what I was trying to say. So, I don't know. It does have me concerned, because I've been kind of talking about this. I'm always concerned there might be a false flag for the Super Bowl, especially when, it was the weird thing I was talking about, like trying to, poison the country, with GMOs or fluoride or chemtrails, or you had your Fukushima, you had your BP oil spill contaminating the Gulf, and you had the Fukushima contaminating the Pacific, and then you had the potentially missing nuke that was supposedly detonated off the coast of South Carolina a few weeks ago. So I don't know if they're poisoning the southern Atlantic Sea. So I guess the only natural thing would be to poison, set off some sort of how do you radiate the water up on the East Coast? Would that be to, some sort of false flag event at the Super Bowl? That would make sense. So I don't know. It does have my alarm raised to some extent, and who knows what the crazy power structure would do. I don't know. I certainly hope not. I just want to enjoy the game and have a normal life. But, there's always these concerns. So, yeah, they're really going all out with the security, TSA, and, snipers out. I don't know. So, maybe they know something. I don't know. I think a lot of the terrorism that we've seen lately a lot of it kind of seems to be staged. I don't really believe a lot of it. So, I don't know. There could be some legitimate people out there that might want to do harm. I don't know, so it'll be interesting, and I guess we'll see in a couple of days.
I guess we will. Those are the only ones that were on my radar. Do you have a couple headlines you want to toss our way that we didn't have a chance to get to?
Well, speaking of TSA, there was a story out today, many different publications, former TSA agent who says, yes, I saw you naked, and yes, we were laughing. And so they're talking about, the ex-TSA employee spilling these secrets about the flight screening. And, you can pretty much find that everywhere, whether it's Politico. I think this one's out of the Blaze. I tweeted it out. You can follow me, Eccentric99, and check that one out. That one's interesting stuff. What else do I have? Oh, it's another one kind of dovetailing with the TSA. We had a little convention here with in Vegas recently with Sheriff Mack and the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. One of the chief of police in New Mexico was stopped and placed. He was harassed by the federal agents and placed on leave after signing a pledge to uphold the Constitution. So Sheriff Mack, who's a really great guy,
Wow.
I think he might even be on InfoWars News tonight as we speak, is going to be talking about that. Yeah, he set up a little thing to get the sheriffs out there to reaffirm their oaths, pledge to the Constitution, because the federal government is trying to, federalize stuff and national security, homeland security, trying to kind of intertwine this stuff, blur the lines, kind of contaminate these sheriffs on what they're supposed to do. And so Sheriff Mack has fought out against this, a former sheriff. So he set up this little place, constitutional sheriff. So, we have good people that we can trust because they're kind of the law in your community. So you want to make sure they're on the people's side and not they're not going to follow unconstitutional orders from the federal government in case that ever happens. So, yeah, they have these guys. They meet once a year, I believe. And so, as Police Chief Shane Harger. Oh, yeah, here we go. And Sheriff Richard Mack will both appear on InfoWars Nightly News. I don't know if that's tonight or yesterday. So, Police Chief was detained and harassed by federal agents while traveling to a constitutional convention before returning home. To be told he was placed on administrative leave and ordered to disband his police department after signing a pledge to uphold the Bill of Rights. I mean, that is just... And how do you make that stuff up? I mean, that's what every sheriff is supposed to do. You take an oath. Everyone in the military and people in D.C., everybody. So it's amazing. So all I can say is it's such a bombshell thing. I encourage anybody to go check that out and see if you can. They usually release those InfoWars Nightly News types of things the day after. So I'm sure you'll get an interview out and a follow-up to the story because it doesn't even make any sense. Why would they do that? I mean, why would he get it? I mean, I was sure he'd have a great career in Homeland Security if he was if they just had him sign an oath to do whatever the federal government asks him to do. And a lot of these times, these chief of police are basically unelected bureaucrats that I don't know. So who knows? But absolutely crazy stuff. I don't really know what else to say, but you imagine you're getting shaken down at the airport like, oh, you pledge an oath to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights? Sorry, time to disband your department. Just unprecedented, just totally insane.
Let me, I was wondering what Oath Keepers had to say about this, and I found this story from January 30th, yesterday, 2014. TSA harasses police chief, placed on administrative leave, told to disband his entire police department. What was the name of your guy? Sheriff Mack?
This guy. Well, Sheriff Mack is the who runs the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Former, I don't know if he was in New Mexico or Arizona or something like that. He's a really good guy. I've met him. I've interviewed him.
Okay, and so that whole story you were just telling was about Sheriff Mack.
No, he's running. He's going to be talking about it. He's going to be on the InfoWars report to give out his give his take on that. But this police chief, his name is Shane Harger.
Yep, there we go. I was just making sure I had the same thing here, Shane Harger. I'm looking at a picture of him on oathkeepers.org, a really good organization that basically reminds people you took an oath to defend and protect the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, not to obey illegal orders from politicians. Yeah,
in case they say, hey, we're going to declare martial law, we want to go around, round up everyone's guns. It's going to be like a Hurricane Katrina type of event or whatever, to make sure that they're going to be on the people's side and the Constitution side like they should be and not following orders from people. It's common sense. But we have to, set up foundations to reaffirm just to make sure we're on the right page here. We shouldn't even have to, but they do. And they get these really, these good guys and sheriffs to reaffirm their oaths and back the people in our country. And now they're being demonized and harassed at the airport. So, how do they even find this stuff out? I mean, it's crazy, but I'll leave you with, leave it at that. And people listening, because like I said, there's going to be a follow-up to this, obviously, because it's just so insane. So, people should go check that out, or find Richard Mack, or find the InfoWars Nightly News, and find that interview. I know I will. I'm hoping to get some kind of follow-up over the weekend, and I want a response from the government. How did they find out about this, and why would they do this? I mean, how do you... since when is it against the law, or to back up the oath and say, hey, this is the Bill of Rights, this is the law of the land, Constitution, Bill of Rights, and hey, I pledge to that. I somehow wrong. What?
I can't even understand all of that stuff. It makes no sense to me. We are in an upside down Superman Bizarro world, as I've said before. This is insanity. I don't get it.
Yeah, this is Rome. This is the modern fall of Rome. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going down, or we got a culture of corruption, and all the wars, the bad economy, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Federalizing, the Homeland Security arming to the teeth. Are they getting ready for civil unrest? So they want to make sure they've got all their people in place to, once stuff hits the fan. I don't know, or in case people just rise up and say, we're tired. We need to have a redress of our grievances. We want to change our government because the people in D.C. are corrupt and they don't get it, and they're not in it for our interests. They're in it for their own interests, and they're, getting paid off by corporations and through their lobbyists, and, they don't care about us. So... it's time to change, and who knows? And once we take the country back, hopefully, these people are going to be in trouble for all the things that they've been doing behind our back. So, would they arm themselves with the teeth and create a police state to prevent that from happening? Yeah, I guess it's not that far-fetched. So, people need to go check that out, because you're watching history unfold right now. And we don't know what direction we want to go in. Do you want to go into a new dark age and neo-feudalism, or do we want to see a new renaissance? So, I'm on Team Renaissance. I'm assuming you are too, Brian.
Absolutely, good sir.
That's why we do this, and that's why we are up here on Friday night discussing the events, so we can hopefully push us towards that course of the better direction here for our country, and have these conversations.
In a way, I kind of feel like it's literally the least I could do. It's a lot of work, but it's also I don't know, I just feel an obligation to pay forward. I don't know, I just feel a bit of an obligation to pay it forward. I never served in the military. I'm just very thankful to the Ben Franklins and the cool cats from history past, that I appreciate the stuff that they did to kind of give us a chance, so we're not being... Hell, there's a lot of lousy countries out there, and I'm glad...
Well, yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, imagine if we didn't have the forefathers. Imagine, there was no Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. We wouldn't be on this show right now. I can say that as pretty much a fact. There wouldn't be, free speech, right to own guns. Are you kidding me? Serfs with guns? Private property? What are you, nuts? Right to, to be private in your homes and not be subject to, illegal search and seizures? Yeah, whatever. That stuff wouldn't exist. You can only imagine the darkness of this world. Our world, human history, it's just human nature for, corrupt people to get into positions of power and have oppressive dictatorships and monarchy and, feudalistic, despotic states. So, the United States is one of the few things, and we really had to, fight the British Empire, the greatest empire out there, and go through all that battle just so we could have some freedom. And now you're kind of watching all of that stuff go out the window. And, there's definitely... Yeah, the world is on edge right now, and this is where the fight is. This is a pretty exciting time to be alive, and pretty. We're going to look back at this time of history. This is going to be one of the most important things, I would think. hopefully it'll play out for the good. But I mean, freedom is a fragile thing. So the forefathers understood that and how important that was. And so we don't want to get rid of that because it is going to be, if this country falls, it's going to be, I don't know how long it's going to take to ever see freedom again once we have a modern type of, with the police state and the military and the technology and the people that are in power on a global level with the population. I can only imagine the horror show and trying to get that taste of freedom again. Unless you're in the ruling elite, of course, you get to play by a different set of rules, but that's a side issue. Fights here, so people need to get involved, spread the word, or, help out a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what to say because this is your future depends on it.
Yeah, and, maybe we should do this. I am okay with this, like I said, because it's the least I could do. The people that don't do anything, is it frustrating? Let me ask you, is it frustrating to you, the people you encounter that maybe know there's something wrong, but they're not participating? It's almost like they could easily help pull the cart, but they're like, I just want to sit in the back. It's like, dude, I'm pulling. Yeah, I just want to sit in the back. I'm like, this gets a lot easier if you help pull. Yeah, I just want to sit in the back.
Hey, I'm sure there was a lot of people like that in ancient Rome, and they fell, and we had a new dark age. So, or we could, there's another time in history where, there was a Renaissance. So you can control the destiny here. And if everybody just does a little, just to get out and spread the word, spread the broadcast, tell other people, or spread the media, you don't have to drive the media. You don't have to start a radio show. But if you start, watching a little, getting a little out of the bread and circus and, getting involved a little bit more in politics and, what's going on in the world, really make things a lot easier. So, yeah, you don't want to be, because if this country falls or they shut down the internet and we go into some new police state, you're going to spend the rest of your life regretting the fact that you didn't do something while we had a chance. And,
The rest of your short, miserable life.
Yeah, the rest of your life in the Hunger Games.
In the gulag of FEMA Region 9. Yeah. Come join us. Come join Dice, Walley, and Engelman over in FEMA Region 9. Send us a postcard, would you? Anyway.
We're still arguing about snow.
We'll be stuck in some god-awful desert arguing about snow. They've truly gone mad in FEMA Region 9. Okay. Well, anyway, I just, I have the geek in me just wanted to remind everybody once again, the quote, I'm just wrapping up the open browser windows, to end with a little bit of levity here. Jerry Seinfeld says a Seinfeld reunion is happening. His quote was, so George and Jerry were spotted outside of a restaurant. What is that? The Tom's? Yeah, Tom's Restaurant, which was a fixture on the 90s sitcom. Rumors started swirling that it was from a Super Bowl commercial, an episode of Seinfeld's web series called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Seinfeld said Thursday that it was neither, though he cryptically added, but it's not those things either. It's a secret project. I gave you more now than I've given anyone. I told you what it isn't. And then I also told you that it isn't not that either. Which is really one of the most confusing quotes I've heard in a long time. Did you follow that?
Yeah, I was like, what is he talking about?
No, but that's what makes it funny. But it's not those things either. It's a secret project. I gave you now more than I've given anyone. I told you what it isn't, and then I also told you that it isn't not that either. I love that. I love that quote. So anyway, whatever the heck is going on, I will watch it. And there's a dead biker. I don't know if you saw this one on Gawker. Dead biker was buried riding his Harley in a giant transparent casket. You can see it. It's on our Facebook page. We sent it out on Twitter. It's this huge box. He's sitting there riding his Harley, and he's totally dead, embalmed with like a steel 5 embalmers prepared his body and secured him with a metal back brace and straps to ensure that he'd never lose his seat on his beloved bike, even as it was towed by a trailer to his final resting place. The casket was assembled in the garage of his funeral home in Mechanicsburg. Good place for that. Mechanicsburg, enshrining him with his trophies and well-worn leathers. It's kind of a sight to see. It's over there. So that kind of rounds out the rest of the stories that I had. Did you have anything else sitting in your stack you wanted to address rapid fire as we bounce out of here?
The only other one I think I wanted to share, not even at really share, but if you want to see how crazy and out of touch our politicians are, pretty amazing interview last night on the Daily Show with Nancy Pelosi.
Oh Lord, I didn't
see a complete ass of herself.
Did you want? Hold on, wait a second. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Did you want me to pull up the audio for that? Where do I find it? I'll gladly play it if it's easy. I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, sure, yeah. If you look at my Twitter feed, Eccentric99 is the very top story, I believe. It says, must watch the spinning and shocking stupidity of Nanny State and Nancy Pelosi. It's only about a minute clip. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of clips are in the same interview where the very, very liberal audience of Daily Show Jon Stewart laughs at Nancy Pelosi because she's just such a complete buffoon, and she's so out of touch, and she's so corrupt. And even though Jon Stewart is really not even really trying to he's kind of mentioning the corrupt state of things going on, and she just goes right over her head, and she makes a couple of very memorable moments. And people really need to go check that out to see just how clueless and out of touch this lady is.
Check out the whole video wherever you can find it, but here's that clip that you sent out.
That being said, the Democrats do themselves no favors.
Why?
When the programs that they implement are not efficient and agile, and when they suggest that they themselves are unimpeachably pristine and are not corrupted by the same money that we know flows through those halls. Green knows no party. It's blue and red, but green is the thing that is affecting us.
Well, that seemed pretty rational, Blake. I like the first part of that.
Yeah.
Let's get the second part.
We use the color green. Let me just say that we are the party of green in terms of protecting the environment. The air we breathe, the water we drink.
Right.
And if
no,
I don't
listen,
know how persuadable you are, but I hope you all understand.
I'm not. I think you're missing
Democrats and Republicans.
You're missing the distinction.
Do you believe that? The crowd just laughs at her because he's talking about the culture of corruption and how it doesn't matter about red or blue. They only answer to green. And then it just goes, it escapes over. She just doesn't know how to respond because she is one of those just horrible, out-of-touch aristocrats who has gotten filthy rich in office. And just, how many terms has this lady done? She's a career politician, a complete airhead, making millions from, whatever kind of corrupt interests are buying her off. And then he kind of calls her out, not even calling her out really that much, or even putting her on the spot, but then she just immediately spins. I mean, she just cannot think on her feet. I don't know how she would ever possibly debate anybody. I don't know what's going on in this lady's head, and I have no idea how she's been elected this many times. It's outrageous. But it was hilarious, and the whole crowd can't even back her up on that. It was just like, are you kidding me?
The whole crowd
turning this into an environmental thing? Yeah.
The whole crowd goes, really? And then they start laughing at her. Like, oh, wow, I almost let a couple words slip. See, I wonder when my show goes syndicated and live, I catch myself almost swearing so often. Whew, almost had a moment right there. I'm just letting the listening audience hear that, but... And by the way, did you hear Chris Christie? You talk about money flowing back and forth. Did you know Chris Christie did not let traffic in 2 lanes flow back and forth over the George Washington Bridge? Oh my God, lady! Can you answer a direct question? What is wrong with you? You just want to grab her and shake her. Can you listen to the words I'm saying? Lord Almighty.
I would love nothing more than just to get her live on TV and just to have a forced debate, just so I can hold her feet to the fire and answer the question. Or just even have Jon. I mean, Jon was trying to be friendly and just get a little something, not even really, putting her on the spot. And she just totally stumbles and spins. She doesn't know how to react or be a normal person on that. Yeah, there's a culture of corruption, and yeah, things need to change. Something like that. I mean, she's just a complete airhead. And that was only a piece of it. I think that was part of the extended interview. There's other kinds of publications, Mediaite, The Blaze, and several others that are also showing that clip. I think Real Clear Politics. Another one is another clip where they're talking about the Affordable Care Act, and there's another one where the crowd starts laughing at her again. And it was another thing. I mean, she's just a clueless and corrupt, and she needs to go. She is the epitome of what's wrong with Washington.
Well,
she needs to step down. It is past time.
Past time, and coming up on Sunday, it's going to be halftime. What was your prediction again? Who wins the game?
I have no dog in the fight, but I like Seattle's defense. They're
okay.
They're exciting. They're fast. They're fun to watch, and I don't know. But I like Manning, But like I said, like you were saying too, Seattle's never won before, so why not? Let them have their ring and be done. And
yeah, well, I was trying to think back to the beginning of this marathon interview that we just did, and I couldn't remember if you dodged the question or actually gave me a gave me a solid answer.
I think Seattle's going to, but I do not know. So, I don't know. Manning on the road in the cold weather, and I like Manning. And if Manning wins, great, good for him. But he's already got a ring. I don't know. So, but I think if I had to, I have to take Seattle in defense against Manning in the cold up in Jersey there.
Hey, but I'll tell you what, Manning's played in the cold over in Denver, so I don't think it's a new thing. I think he's...
Last game was nice weather, though. We'll see. And it's going against that zone defense. That Talib guy was hurt, and Brady, and they didn't have Gronkowski. And I'm not taking anything away from Manning. He's one of the all-time... I will always remember him as probably one of the greatest players I ever saw. So,
just like we'll remember Nancy Pelosi as one of the greatest politicians we ever saw. Anyway, just kidding. Well, Blake, thank you very much for joining us once again. Stay connected with Blake. He's on Twitter. Follow him. He's at Eccentric99. You can find lots of snarkasm and general interestingness over there. You can listen to him live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific time on freedomizerradio.com. And you can sign up for his podcast by searching Eccentric Perspective. And if you haven't been to his homepage, it's eccentricperspective.com. Blake, thank you once again for joining us. I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We will be hanging out very soon, and you can finally buy me that fishbowl full of Louis the 14th, 13th? Yeah.
13th.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Appreciate
Pleasure
you.
as always.
Have a great weekend, bro. We will be talking soon. Everybody, please be sure you link up with Blake and check out all that he's up to. You're not going to be disappointed. You're going to enjoy his snarkasm, as I just said. I mean it. You're going to enjoy it. A lot of good stories. It doesn't slip past him, and he's your man on the inside, finding all the important news you need to find. So thank you, Blake, for joining us. I want to thank all of you for listening to us. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. We have a bunch of new music videos, guitar solos, product reviews from the NAMM Music Convention. Please check that out. Subscribe to us, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. And on Facebook, search The New American Media with spaces in between and like our page. My name's Brian Engelman for the TNAM Radio Network here at thenewamericanmedia.com. Signing out. Go Seahawks. And I'll be talking with you again soon. I appreciate each and every one of you. Until the next time, keep fighting the good fight. Stand up. Be brave.